On today's episode of Kult America, I am in Poland's subcarpathian region to search for abandoned cemeteries. So we're in the village of Łodzinka, and there is said to be an abandoned cemetery with the outlining foundations of a Orthodox church somewhere upon this hill. Alright, so imagine that you're just going on a nice walk through these beautiful hills as a tourist, and you notice that there's kind of a cement foundation on the side of the road, open. You might not realize what that is until you take a closer look and discover a headstone, a cross. Glass is not really too biodegradable, but it would seem that someone remembers whoever lies below this mound, because there are plenty of candles. Someone returns all the time. Yeah, look at that. Looks like a headstone has fallen down. I'm not going to uncover the whole thing today, but it's kind of fascinating all the same. We put our names and our dates on these headstones so that we can hopefully be immortalized, so that our descendants will know where their ancestors came from. But I suspect thousands of years from now, when archaeologists are looking for places that might or might not be cemeteries, it won't be headstones and bones that tell them the story, but it will be our garbage. Look at this. Look at how many untented graves there are. This is incredible. And I saw one of the dates on the grave was from about 1920. So this has been sitting unattended for many, many years. And in the scale of history, this is only many years from our perspective. I think that within our lifetime, this place might even become unrecognizable as a cemetery. We're about 15 or 20 kilometers away from the Ukrainian border, and this headstone is written in Ukrainian. The subcarpathian region actually used to have a very large and significant Ukrainian population, but because of political tensions, that has since changed. And I have noticed the candle here is quite new, so someone, we could assume Ukrainian, comes back to this spot to pay their vigilance. I've been looking for the foundation of the church that would have been associated with this cemetery, and I haven't really been too successful, but purely speculating, this hole behind me could perfectly fit the outline of a small Orthodox chapel. I'm in the city of Leszczava, where there's said to be an abandoned Ukrainian cemetery just inside of these woods. So I can see the first grave, and actually it's very, very well tended for a place that's supposed to be abandoned. This gravesite is from 1939, and it's really, really well preserved. But the others in the area are quite neglected, and actually you'd have to dig through this brush to find them. It's incredible. So there are probably a lot of graves actually under this brush, around these trees, which we wouldn't really be able to distinguish with the naked eye. But I'm really curious why that sole grave is so well preserved when everything else is gone. When motorists drive through the city of Leszczava, what they might not be aware of is this hidden cemetery on the side of a hill. It's just next to the main road, and you would never guess it was here if you didn't venture in. I'm in Leszczava Górna right now, and I am just amazed by the beauty of the nature. And what amazes me even more is that under this beautiful blanket of trees are hidden abandoned cemeteries, such as the Ukrainian cemetery. So I can see the first grave, and there's not exactly a paved road, so I have to kind of take the village way up. Now this is graphic. The first thing I discovered when I was walking here is a huge open hole in the ground, and it doesn't leave much to the imagination, because inside of that hole you can clearly see a very old casket. Despite the fact that these graves are all very covered by natural growth, you can clearly see the outline of where dead bodies are laying. Just in front of me is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This must have been a pretty big cemetery. Even when I look up the hill, I can see in the distance some headstones. But I'm a little bit paranoid after seeing the collapsed grave. I really would not like to fall into an ancient grave. In front of me lie the remains of a small chapel, and you can clearly see some of the craftsmanship in these logs, and also just how long this has been sitting here by all of the moss and erosion that has happened to the foundation. When I explore the woods and find things like this, and I see the little details of craftsmanship, it really makes me wonder what other stories this forest might have to tell. Not only are these headstones old, but I have the impression that the candles that loved ones brought to these headstones could be as old as I am. This is a very forgotten place. Just everywhere I look in this enormous cemetery, there is bump after bump after bump on the hill. It's almost like ski moguls. And when you stop to think that each one of those bumps was an individual life with an individual story, it's very, very moving and very, very somber to stand here. And also, I have to wonder how many thousands of descendants exist today because of the bumps in the ground around me. Now, I'm clearly not a historian. I'm just a curious human being who likes to travel around, have experiences, and comment on how I perceive those experiences. But for those of you who are history savvy, please write me in the comment section below your theory as to why these cemeteries are abandoned and what are their significance to the history and legacy of Polish society. Beyond that, please follow me on Facebook, Twitter, where we could continue and evolve this discussion on a more personal level if that is your preference. And please subscribe, share, all of that. Thank you so much for watching.